The 3D printer. It feels like one of those inventions that you look at and think, this was something meant to be left within the confines of a sci-fi novel. At least something to be dreamed of far off in the distant future that mankind utilizes to help colonize and build civilization on distant planets. Yet today, we harness the ability to literally print whatever we want with a little skill in 3D design and culinary expertise. For the tabletop enthusiasts, an entire world of extreme precision and realism can be brought to our gaming tables through our very own fingertips. Realistic terrain brought to life in ways we've never dreamed of.
Hey guys, Neil here. So before we get into the video, I just want to preface what this video actually is. Now, to do that, we're going to go for a little bit of a walk here. Now, I got a massive project coming up. I know what you're thinking already. Where am I going to store it? And what do I do with all these huge projects? But before we get into that, let's talk about what this project is, and more specifically, more about the prep work, which is what this video is going to be about. So I've been doing a ton of 3D high intensive modeling and designing. So basically terrain making on my computer with some very sophisticated software. And so we're going to be getting into that. And I'm really excited to show you what I've been working on. I'm just as equally excited for that as I am for this big project. Now, speaking of the big project, that's why we're going for this little walk here. If you follow me on Instagram, you've been seeing behind the scenes of what I've been doing on the computer, a little bit of what I've been designing, as well as what we've got coming up and what was just sent to me in the mail, which is this right here. So, as you can see, Woodland Scenics has recently contacted me, and they've been letting me know how much they love the channel and the projects I do, and they asked me to partner up, and I, of course, said yes, even though my space is quickly running out. We're gonna do a big project with them. So excited for, and this is all that they sent for that. So they sent a ton of material for this project. As you can see, this thing is like a bottomless pit inside here. This is so full. These are huge boxes, 3 massive boxes here they sent, and all this other material here, as you can see, tons and tons of stuff. So this is going to be a huge project, and I'm really excited for. So that's what this video is going to be prep for. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at some of the 3D printable terrain that I've been making. I'm going to show you a bit of my process behind that. We're going to print out and paint some of that up. And so speaking of the printing part, we're going to do a lot of 3D printing in this project. And for that, I want to give us a really good solid prep on 3D printing, what to expect when you get into 3D printing, what are the common issues for fails, all that stuff. And for that, we got a really special guest coming on. He specializes in all that stuff and is heavy into tabletop gaming, D&D roleplay, and he's a super awesome guy. And yeah, so we're gonna take a look at that. And yeah, I'm super stoked for you guys to see what I've been up to and what I've been doing behind the scenes, because I'm gonna make all this available to you guys coming up here. So let's just jump right into it.
This is a model that I 3D designed, printed, and painted completely from scratch. And yeah, you guessed it, this is a Hobbit hole, and I made a whole bunch of these, and we're going to be making a huge Shire gaming board. And I'm going to show you the steps it took to get from this, to this, to this, and finally this. So this guy here started with an amazing piece of software called Blender. Blender is a completely free, open source, community-driven piece of 3D software used in production pipelines for movie VFX, game development, fully animated films, and more. You've seen me use it before in my videos, in particular the animated Game of Thrones style intro I did for the massive Tabletop World Castle project. Blender has the capabilities of what many advanced 3D software developers have to offer, which reach into the thousands of dollars for only an annual subscription. It's made leaps and bounds over the last decade and is becoming increasingly competitive against the industry standards. Now let's enter into our world, the world of tabletop gaming, diorama making, and 3D printing. While Blender is good for modeling out the overall shape and composition of a model to be printed out for your tabletop games or diorama, such as the models I made for the sign housing in my latest cyberpunk diorama, it just doesn't make the cut when it comes to pieces that require more detail, such as miniatures or pieces of terrain where stone or wood needs believable texture in order to look good on the table when printed out. Enter ZBrush. ZBrush is the industry standard mainly when it comes to highly detailed character development for movies, video game characters, and cutscenes. And in the world of tabletop gaming, the development of studios dedicated directly to insanely detailed printable miniatures specific for 3D printing use ZBrush, such as this amazing frost giant from Archfilm Games I painted for this winter diorama, as well as highly detailed buildings and terrain for your tabletop adventures. This is where ZBrush comes in for me. I take the basic models that I made in Blender, bring them into ZBrush, and start sculpting the shapes as if they're made directly from clay, and add in texture and a sense of realism to this model, and end up with something like this. This is what I've been working on, and these are completely designed and modeled by yours truly. I'm really proud of these things. I used references from the actual Hobbit Homes or Hobbit Holes in New Zealand on the set there from Lord of the Rings. Now, I am planning on making these models available to all of you in the future on my website, and in preparation for that, I figured this was a good opportunity to prepare us and talk a little bit about 3D printing, the pitfalls that we have with that, and get somebody on here who knows exactly anything and everything to do with 3D printing. And while we do that, we're going to paint up one of these models here, and I'm going to show you the process of that and how to make these things look absolutely stunning. But first, I want to give a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, 1985 Games. 1985 Games have created an incredible set of double-sided 2D terrain for tabletop RPGs called Dungeon Craft. So what's amazing about Dungeon Craft is it allows you to build beautifully epic maps for your D&D, Pathfinder, and wargaming adventures in just a few minutes. Each book contains over 1,000 pieces and are both wet and dry erasable for quick editing. Right now, there's over 5 different themed books to help you flesh out your games. There's Dungeon Craft Volume 1, Castles and Keeps, Cursed Lands, Hell and High Water, and Realm's Edge. Now, these guys were an absolute last-minute sponsor, and I'm sure if I asked them, they would have happily sent me a package, but I like this product so much that I went and bought myself Dungeon Craft Volume 1. As I'm starting to dabble into GMing or DMing, being the game master, I have typically just been a player, but I'm starting to get into that, particularly with my family during COVID here, and this is going to be the perfect set of tools for me to use for my DMing adventures. Use the code RTH15 to get 15% off on all Dungeon Craft products at checkout. Alright, so I got my 2 3D printers behind me here. These are both resin printers. I've got a large guy here and a smaller one. This is kind of your standard, typical beginner's printer, and this guy is a little bit more advanced. I do happen to have a print on this guy. Just finished printing overnight, and it was a total fail. It failed. And as you can see here, you can see there that these guys are cut off. There's just the roof. If you look at the supports over here, a lot of them had failed, specifically down here. There's quite a few reasons why that happens. So rather than trying to figure this out on our own, we're going to get a 3D printing guru, Danny from 3D Printed Tabletop. His channel is completely dedicated to 3D printing, and he knows anything and everything to do with 3D printing. He's ran 2 massive successful Kickstarters. So we're going to get him on the line and ask him a few questions. So Danny, take a look at this, man. What happened here? Why did this happen? Is my printer broken? Do I need to take it back?
Hey Neil, I've got good news for you. Your printer's not broken. Unfortunately, figuring out what's wrong with your print isn't so simple. It's kind of like if you hear a rattling noise in your car. It could be a bunch of things, simple as a screw being somewhere in your engine or some type of major failure that's gonna... We're not going that direction. Now regarding your print, it could be everything from your print not being hollow and there being too much suction force. It could be you have an unlevel bed, which is probably the most common issue for both FDM and resin printers. It could be that your FEP sheet is bad and needs to be replaced. Or it could be your resin wasn't mixed up well enough. Or maybe it's just not working very well, which is just something that happens sometimes with certain brands and certain colors. My point is, could be a lot of things, and sometimes it takes a lot of experimentation, troubleshoot those things, even for people like me who've been printing for many years. It's very common and very normal.
I've got no idea what you just said. I'm just sitting here alone in my basement, so I'm just gonna put this back on here and ask you the next question. For somebody first getting into 3D printing, what type of printer would you recommend for the absolute beginner? I know these are both resin printers. Maybe an FDM filament printer is the way to go for a beginner. What do you think?
Well, I think if you want to talk about skill level, both resin printers and FDM printers like I've got back there are gonna take a certain level of tinkering. Unless you buy a more expensive model, which are generally a little bit easier to work with, but there's really no guarantees with 3D printers. There's a whole bunch, and if you decide to go down the rabbit hole of buying your first 3D printer, I think you're gonna have to do a little bit more of your own investigation to see what is important to you. Do you want a really cheap printer? Do you want a more expensive printer that has a lot better detail and you're willing to spend a little bit more? Is space an issue? Those are questions that I think matter for both FDM and resin printers. I think that the printers that you're showing in this video are good ones to start with. You can also look into other brands like Elegoo, the Elegoo Mars, or they just came out with the Elegoo Neptune. And there's also the very popular in the FDM world, Creality Ender 3, which now has a V2 and a V2 Pro. I think those are all pretty solid options for starting you on your journey if you're looking into picking up one or the other. The other thing to consider is that resin printers are generally better at printing minis, and FDM printers are meant for terrain. Doesn't mean you can't print miniatures on FDM printers, but in general, those are the typical use cases for both of these printers. And if that doesn't help, I don't blame you. We get this question all the time in all the Facebook groups because it's a very common concern. My suggestion though, get something on Amazon in case you do want to return it. No regrets.
All right, Danny, for the next question, what are the 3 most common reasons for a failed print, for you to get something like that?
Okay, the most common reasons why you get a problem like that. The first is probably your bed's not leveled. And I know you hear this all the time. That's the case for FDM printers too. You might think that you're leveling it, and a lot of times you aren't. You might leave a little bit off like this. You might think, oh man, well, the plate's pressing down. Like, why is this doing it? And that's just the way it is. Getting a good bed level is really important. There's so many different methodologies. I generally stick to what I find in the printer manual as opposed to things I find online, unless I'm getting a whole bunch of failures. The other reason that I think is probably the most common is your settings aren't working. I know that's kind of loaded, but a lot of times you'll find people give settings online. They are giving what they used, what was successful for them. And it doesn't take into consideration things like temperature, whether the batch of resin you got maybe was good or bad. And I know that sounds like mumbo jumbo, but sometimes you just get a batch and it's bad and you buy a different brand of resin, a different color of resin, which has different properties, and it just works better with the settings that you're using. If you're struggling, this might be a really simple, relatively cheap way to change it is buy 500 milliliters of a different brand of resin. Worst case scenario, you're out 20 bucks. The other thing that happens a lot is suction forces and not properly hollowing or supporting models. The most important part of models is to make sure you have a strong anchor, especially for these bigger models. I know sometimes it's really tempting to try and avoid some of the artifacts from supports like you might on a mini, but when you're printing bigger pieces, that anchor is really important because there's so much force on that, so much peel force a lot of the time that it will cause other failures throughout. I would say those are probably the most common I see on the internet in general.
All right, so 3D printing is a bit of a skill that you need to learn and tweak to really get a consistent amount of successful prints coming out of these things. So Danny, what would you say somebody like you who's got a lot of experience with 3D printing and knows their stuff inside and out, how often would you figure you still come across a failed 3D print just like this, and can people expect that?
I want to clarify one thing, Neil. I don't have all the answers, and I don't consider myself a guru. I just consider myself somebody who's done a lot of printing and used a lot of different machines. And I get failures all the time. In fact, let me show you something. This is exactly what you think it is. This is my box of failed prints. I've got FDM, resin, okay. This is everything from didn't support, delamination for FDM, you name it. I get failures all the time. And I think sometimes you look on YouTube and all you see is the perfect prints. And the reality is this is still a tinkerer's hobby. For some people, this is a lot of fun, and this is part of the fun of the hobby. It's not for me. It's just a necessary evil that I deal with in order to be able to enjoy the fun of having really nice minis and the minis that I want at my table. And it's just really cool. It's like magic for me to see a model print. So I'd say if you are printing for a while and you're still getting failures, try changing things up and see and find something that works for you and stick to it as much as possible. And don't start changing things up if you don't have to, and if things are working for you. That's what I would recommend. And honestly, don't get discouraged. It's a fun hobby, but it's not a hobby for everyone.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Danny. Now, before you go, you need to tell us a little bit about the Lost Adventures. You created 2 massively successful Kickstarters around this world. Volume 2 was just released, and I've got a bunch of the characters right here, and you can see how cool and unique the art style is. There's so much detail and richness in this character design. They're all from the animal kingdom. And I just absolutely find this world completely fascinating. And Danny's even made buildings and printable terrain that goes along with all of this. And it's just a massive collection, all said and done. So Danny, how about you tell us a little bit about the Lost Adventures, how you took the direction that you did. And yeah, just share with us anything you want to say about the Lost Adventures.
Sure. The Lost Adventures Volume 2 is a Kickstarter that we launched last year in order to be able to start building on our very first Kickstarter, Lost Dragons, where we kind of start fleshing out our world that we've been building. And this specific region is called the Green Sea. It's a very dangerous place, and that's why there's a lot of creatures that live here that call the Green Sea home, that aren't your standard run-of-the-mill humans. We have lore that goes along with the Kickstarter. We've got maps. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that goes with this, all meant to help you run these in your tabletop RPGs. If you're just a lover of minis, we've got all sorts of stuff that I think would interest you over on our website, lostadventures.co, including late pledges if you are interested in getting the best deal possible. I appreciate you giving me some of your time, Neil, and for having me on the channel. And seriously, those prints came out pretty good, man. I'm looking forward to seeing them painted up, and hopefully you and your kids get some good use out of them. I wish you happy printing, man. Good luck.
Thanks for that, Danny. Much appreciated, man. I actually do know what you said this time. I did take a look at the footage already, so thanks for that. So make sure you guys go check out Danny's channel and subscribe. 3D printed tabletop. I'll have links down below for that, as well as his website for the Lost Adventures. If you sign up as a late backer, that's the best deal. You get a massive discount doing that with everything. Or he's got little bundles as well for each of the little miniatures as well as the terrain. But yeah, thanks Danny for everything. I'll be using your advice here for these guys. Very excited for these. So this is gonna be an epic project coming up, and it's coming up quick. I've got about 7 of these guys designed already. And if you're kind of tired of this yearly uploading schedule of mine, monthly uploading schedule, you can head over to Instagram and get some behind the scenes stuff for things like this 2 to 3 times a week for behind the scenes stuff. So you can follow me there on Instagram, or even better yet, head over to Patreon and join the Discord server there. You can talk to me every day. We've got an awesome community in there, very active, and it's great. Anyway, super excited for this next project and all these things that I've been doing behind the scenes. This is a big one. It's going to be epic. Very excited. So we'll see you soon. All right. Peace.